Mac Jones came out. He said he'd be at 85. I mean, I think that's very generous. He thinks highly of himself, and he said that he felt like he'd get shorted on the rating because people don't think as highly of him as he does himself and what he feels like he performed.
Yeah.
So, I mean, do you think an 85 is too high?
Yeah, 85 is definitely steep. And, I mean, there's no question that Mac Jones is talented. You know, we went over the analysis of these quarterbacks. We know that he can make a lot of reads. We know he's got a lot of pre-snap. We know that he makes a lot of great adjustments at the line. Lacks on the athleticism. I don't really know about the deep throws. I know he can make a lot of reads, but overall, Mac Jones being at 85 does feel steep to me. I'm feeling like, and I know Madden here gave him an 81. I would say, and I know I'm being nitpicky, I'd probably say a 79 or an 80 because that security blanket at Alabama, he was throwing to open people. He's not going to necessarily have a line like he did with Alabama, you know, if he sees any time, if that Patriots line is still the same, if that, you know, talent core is still the same when Mac Jones gets there. This is a guy who does have a lot of NFL talent already in him, but it's going to take a lot for him to actually perform at the next level. And we know that for Mac Jones. And this is the whole narrative about the Alabama quarterbacks is, you know, what are they really? What do they once you get them away from these 4-2, 4-3 receivers, you know, 5 NFL starters on the offensive line and a bell cow back that's rushing for 2,500 yards? Who are they when they truly get away from them? I'm going to put Mac Jones about a 79 or an 80, which is just below what Madden gave him, but the kid's got a lot to prove, and I think he can be successful in the NFL. I really just got to see more out of that deep throw because, I mean, we see it. The quarterbacks now, can you throw the deep ball? Are you accurate with the deep ball? He's got the accuracy, but the strength concerns me a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think the 80, 81, that is a pretty accurate rating, in my opinion, because, I mean, from what Madden had quarterbacks ranked last season in 2021, that puts him around 16, 17. The two quarterbacks that are at 80 and 81 in relation to him would be a Kirk Cousins and a Matt Stafford.
Right.
He is very similar to Kirk Cousins and Matt Stafford with a lack of mobility.
Right.
He has a higher football IQ than Kirk Cousins pre-snap. I mean, Matt Stafford has a much stronger arm, but he's not showed anything to this point that he can get anything done that actually correlates to winning.
Still an underachiever.
So, I mean, 80, 81, I think if Mac was actually to play this year, which I don't think he will.
Right.
If he was to play, I think he should start like around the 80, 81 point just because he is able to make the pre-snap reads. He runs an offense very well. With all the new weapons that New England actually has out there, I don't really think that his arms will be an issue because there are no burners out there. And outside of there not being burners, he had burners at Alabama, and he throws the ball early. It's like he makes the pre-snap read, and even though he does have people who are running 4-3s and 4-2s, he's getting rid of the ball after they're like 10, 15 yards up the field.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have to throw it 60 yards. He only has to throw it about 40 because it's already in the air.
Yep.
He's letting them run it down because he already has an understanding of what that coverage looks like. He's getting it out of there.
He's already got that early NFL knowledge. And going to the Patriots, Bill Belichick, like one of the smartest guys already in the league, hell of a culture to go to, right out of college. Going to keep him on the straight and narrow. A lot of similarities there. We've seen the Saban, Belichick, Patriots, Crimson Tide kind of way. So it feels good for Mac Jones. It really does.
No, absolutely. So, I mean, like Mac Jones' actual rating at an 85 will put him even with Matt Ryan.
Which is like
as far as Madden,
his like a smarter Matt Ryan. I said it when we went over the quarterbacks. It's like a smarter Matt Ryan, a little bit of a higher ceiling, but I mean, still overall just your guy, really.
So, I mean, based off of that, he can get an 85.
Yeah,
if he was going to play.
Right. Ceiling.
I don't
Matt
think
Ryan.
he's going to play.
Smarter Matt Ryan.
Yes, I mean his personal rating isn't outlandish, but I think it'll be lower initially because rookies don't get ratings that high in Madden.
Not off the rip like that. As I said, these guys don't play.
Yep. So, I mean, we'll keep that ball rolling all the way up because your boy Trey Lance, number 3 pick to the San Francisco 49ers, came out and said he thinks that he should be an 88 because of all of what he has to offer. His skill set, his running, his passing, his intangibles. He feels like he is really that good. I mean, an 88 would put him even with Josh Allen.
Yeah, no, sir.
With like that, he would be the 7th highest ranked quarterback on Madden from last year.
I mean, comparable, definitely. I've said it. Cam Newton, Josh Allen, like he's got those, like he's got that look on tape. But I'll go ahead and let you finish, man. He's extremely raw, extremely raw.
But I mean, I actually understand why his personal ranking is that high. I mean, the dude went undefeated, won a national championship, threw 28 touchdowns to 0 interceptions with another 11 rushing touchdowns. He should feel untouchable. I mean, what he was able to do at North Dakota State should equate to an 88 Madden rating. We don't know that it will. He's got to get acclimated to the NFL, and he was not playing against NFL talent because North Dakota State does not play anyone in the Power 5 or anything remotely close to Power 5 competition, which is all of what he'll see the best of the best in the NFL.
Which is why I don't know you can rave about these 39 touchdowns and national championship.
I'm saying I understand why he feels that way.
Yeah, he's definitely got the offerings to be an 88,
I get his sentiment.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I agree.
I was number 3.
I understand why he feels that way.
Yeah.
He should.
Yeah, I'm there with you. So here we go. If there was it really would be like his numbers would just be higher in the years played in the NFL for his veteran leadership in Madden. But we're going to say he might have an 88 for the tangibles, the potential, but I'm going to make up another word here. Bona fideness. I'm going to give him about a 65, maybe a 70 because the kid's raw, hasn't played anybody. We've heard a lot of it of, okay, is he good or is he a great, transcendent player, or is he just a good guy playing around a lot of bad guys at North Dakota State? We know about
is that an actual Madden attribute?
What's that?
Bona fideness.
No, as I said, I'm gonna come up with that, man. That's why I was over here giggling when you were taking first. I was like,
what?
Boom. No, but he's the most raw quarterback in this draft. Like, we know what Trey Lance is capable of, but I'm nervous because the pick at number 3 was a double-edged sword, and you heard Kyle Shanahan, or it was I think it might have been John Lynch. I want to say it was John Lynch talking about, Kyle and I kept it personal. We didn't really tell anybody. We didn't even let the draft room know until the number 2 pick came off the board. We wanted to hear what everybody said about Trey Lance. We wanted everybody to really make us think we were taking Mac Jones. Obviously stayed super quiet about it, took Trey Lance. But at the end of the day, you are in the NFC West. A lot of great coaches in the NFC West, and I'm not sure if he's got to step up if Jimmy G goes down. I'm not confident in Trey Lance being able to perform at a high level. He's just too raw right now. So Madden gave him a 79. I'd probably agree with that. I might give him about an 80, 81 just because he does show a lot of big play potential, but he's still raw at the end of the day. Some people might even go like 75, which I would understand, but I think he's got a lot higher of potential than we've seen in recent memory for quarterbacks.
I would go
especially the way the league is turning into.
I would go as low as 76. That's what I think that he'll walk in with. I think his intangibles and what he was able to do at North Dakota State will grant him that much. A 76 isn't a bad rating for a rookie quarterback. You haven't done anything. He comes in with a 76. That will put him on par with Cam at 23 from Madden's last year rankings, which were coming from them just assuming what he would be off of injury. We must understand that these rankings aren't saying what they'll do next year. That's where they should come in rated on Madden coming into the season. Like, they only have the college season to go off of, who your competition was, how well you perform, and they got to take all that into consideration. All of those intangibles and everything else, I think, are what gets him up to 76. He wasn't a Heisman candidate or any of that.
No.
He's not even playing in a division where he could be a Heisman candidate. But
right.
It's like he just, all of that taken into consideration, I couldn't possibly give him more than a 76. But I absolutely understand why he feels that he should be an 88. He has every right to feel that way.
Right.
But 76 is where I'm taking him.
I like it. I respect it.
Yeah. Like there's, how highly I think of him, or what I think he will be.
Right.
But there's nothing that says he should get a Madden ranking that high.
Yeah, not just, as I said, these guys, they ain't picked up the sticks and I don't know how long. Personally, guys, huge Madden freak over here. Catch me PS4, Schmadam97. Anybody wants to work on the sticks, I'm here for it. Been playing since 05. These guys obviously haven't played in a while, man. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, I feel you. So, man, next quarterback that actually took the bait and answered the question. There were a lot of quarterbacks that didn't say anything.
The only one who plays Madden.
Yeah. Justin Fields. Justin Fields is realistic because clearly he plays. He plays a lot. He said he'd be somewhere between a 78 and an 81.
Mm-hmm.
And he also said, because you know how they do rookies.
Exactly.
He knows there's no way he can get ranked higher than an 81, and an 81 would be generous.
Mm-hmm.
And his projected ranking is a 78, which would put him on par with Justin Herbert.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was a 78 last year.
And the kid is good in Madden already. Like, seriously. You can win some games with him in the game already.
And I mean,
very fun team to play with.
It's your starting rating.
Right.
You get rated there, and as you play, they update it. Because everything's online now. It's not like it used to be. Your rating is your rating until next year.
Yep. They'll update it after week 1.
You start balling, they'll take you up. You start stinking it up, they bring you back down. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's a very all-inclusive type of thing. But I think Justin Fields, he's spot on. Like somewhere between 78 and 81, because the quarterbacks that puts him in line with, as far as where Madden had them last year, that has him somewhere between Justin Herbert, Ben Roethlisberger, Kirk Cousins, and Matt Stafford.
Yeah.
So I think with those
Herbert, Stafford.
With those four as the barometer, they were the ones that were between 78 and 81.
Yeah.
He can easily come out there with Chicago and be at that range, if not better. I mean, he's got all the tools. I mean, Chicago has a nice roster in place for him.
Right.
So, I mean, he could easily come in right at a 78, 79 and boost himself up as the season progresses. But I think it's a very realistic spot, and I'm not mad at him for it because he has a better understanding of how Madden works than any of these other quarterbacks, clearly. He's got to be the only one who plays.
Right. His ceiling could be like an 83, 84 if we're talking about like a true ceiling of if he comes out, like you said, absolutely balls out with, I almost said Washington, with Chicago, and, is going to be the QB1 from week one. I hope he is anyways. Madden gave him a 78, which I felt like was fair. I would probably give him as well. I don't know, man. Honestly, maybe I'd go like 81 or 82 just because, this kid can do it all. Seriously, he can make any throw. He's extremely mobile. The scoring on the mental aptitude test for the NFL, absolutely. I think that just speaks stories about everybody that was talking smack about Justin Fields. You clearly don't know this kid. You don't know what he's been through. You don't know the actual career path he had to take being ducked by Georgia, actually going through Ohio State, being ducked so far in the draft to fall that much, because there's no question that he's better than Trey Lance. There's no question about that out there. Yeah, we see all this potential and everybody sees this huge explosive tape from Trey Lance. There's no bad tape on him, really. But there's plenty of bad tape on Justin Fields because we want to pick through this Northwestern game and we want to pick through the national championship against Alabama. Like, come on, guys. Seriously, I would give him an 81, maybe an 82, because Justin Fields is going to be that guy. I hope like hell he wins Offensive Rookie of the Year. Probably won't because of Trevor Lawrence. We all know the hype that's going into him, who, by the way, is an 84 in the game, which is really crazy to think about it. An 84 in your first year. I wonder, honestly, I need to look it up. Is that a Madden rookie record for quarterbacks? An 84 right out of the gate. Obviously, we know it can fluctuate there, but Justin Fields, I feel like an 81 is fair for him. I would stick with an 81 for my boy Fields out there in Chicago.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that. Like, 81 is a very respectable rating, and he was that good.
Right.
That 84 would put Trevor Lawrence tied with Baker Mayfield and Phillip Rivers, both of which led their team to 11 wins last year. So, that's a lot for someone who hasn't played. But I think
single NFL snap.
I think Justin Fields actually has a much better chance at winning Offensive Rookie of the Year than Trevor Lawrence, just for the mere fact that Chicago has a far better team. Mm-hmm. He's got better receivers, running backs, a far better defense. The coaching, we don't know what Urban Meyer is going to be in the NFL.
Right.
We just know what he was in college football. That doesn't always translate. So, just the situation that Justin is going into, I think he's got everything lined up for him to be Offensive Rookie of the Year. So, that team was 8-8 last year. They backed into the playoffs with Mitch Trubisky and Nick Foles.
Yeah.
We know Nick Foles. We know Nick Foles can't play a regular season. He's like the cleanup guy. You put him in at the end of the year, and Mitch Trubisky was
never.
That was one of the most questionably ridiculous picks we've ever seen. Even Daniel Jones wasn't as bad as Mitch Trubisky, and that's saying something because we all felt some kind of way about Danny Dimes.
Oh,
he's better than Mitch, and that's saying something. He's not that good, but he's better than Mitch.
Yeah. Wow.
Bringing Justin Fields in. When is the last time the Chicago had a quarterback as good as him?
Right. People are already saying potentially this is going to be the best quarterback we've ever had, which is unfortunately isn't a testament to much. It is, but it isn't, because there's never been any talent. But also at the same time, with Fields being a rookie, can you really already, like we're about to get into these PFF rankings, can you really already give someone that high of a ceiling as soon as they come into the league? You got to let him get in there, get a couple snaps under their belts. We thought a lot of things with a lot of players, with a lot of quarterbacks, in the NFL. So we got to see for Justin Fields.
Oh, absolutely. So, that brings us to our last quarterback who actually took the bait. And it looks like this is about to be an ongoing saga. The New York Jets first-round pick at number 2. I know the Jet fans always have an issue with everything I have to say, but it's clear that you guys don't really watch football. You're just homers. Zach Wilson said that he should be a 90, and that's because he hasn't played yet and he hasn't done anything. A 90, and you haven't done anything yet? Let me just put that in a little bit of context for you. There are only 6 quarterbacks in the entire NFL that have a 90 or better rating. He's saying that he's top 6? Deshaun Watson was a 90. You got Pat Mahomes, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Lamar Jackson, and Deshaun Watson. You're saying you're as good as them? Fresh off the blocks? Clearly he has never even seen anyone play Madden, let alone play the game. It's like, bro, you didn't play against anybody. You were at BYU. I mean, let me just give you real context on that. In his 3 years at BYU, he played 6 games against Power 5 teams. He threw 5 touchdowns and 4 interceptions in those games. Those are the type of players you're going to play against, and we want to keep it all the way funky. Those weren't big boy defenses.
Nope.
These Power 5 teams you played against were Utah, Washington, USC, Boise State. Like, when they're really borderline not a Power 5. I mean, what they took. Did they take the Big East out of that? I guess
sure,
they are technically still considered, but none of those are powerhouse defense schools.
Oh, not at all.
Like, you played against schools that throw the ball all game long, and that's all they do. They pass. They don't play defense. They throw and they score. And you couldn't ball out against them. Didn't have a single 300-yard game against any of them. And I mean, it's very indicative of the fact that he threw 5 touchdowns and 4 interceptions, that when he plays against better competition, it's not his thing. I mean, a 90 rating is beyond absurd. I mean, you're supposed to be in company with those 6 guys? You know, I think on par for Zach Wilson be a 74. Give him a 74. That'll have him right even with Ryan Fitzpatrick. That's the number 26 ranked quarterback in the league from last year. I think a 74 ranking is where he should fall on his way in. That's all I'm giving him.
Tough. But I agree. I mean, a 90, absolutely insane. I mean, I was like, is this real? Like, he actually guessed a 90 for himself in Madden. It's clear that he doesn't play. This kid's nowhere close to a 90. I wouldn't even give the kid an 85, to be honest with you. Like I said, we broke down these quarterbacks before. No need to repeat everything we've said about them. But if you want to have some key takes from Zach Wilson, I don't like his judgment at all on the field whatsoever. I don't like the arm strength when it comes to the deep throws, and I don't like the accuracy either at the end of the day. And I'll just even add another point. It feels like I've said time and time again, it feels like he tries to get cute, feels like he doesn't want to fully see the play develop. He just wants to lock in on that one route, and then when he does, it shows, because he'll make some silly throws, some errant throws where you're like, okay, like, is this what you truly saw out of this defense, or did you just think that you knew that play? This kid's not near a 90. 74, maybe a 75. The highest would be a 76 for me, just because of the athleticism. We know he can throw on the run. Like, he'll probably have a good throw on the run rating when he comes out in the game. I think he might already be there for like Ultimate Team or something. You know, you got to play for him to get the overall, whatever it may be. Mm-hmm. But overall, with Zach Wilson being a 90, I cannot get down with that at all. Like I said, the highest, his ceiling, would be like a 76 for me, and that's only because of the athleticism.